Hello and welcome back. Today I'm just doing a short little sort of an update video here on sort of how I'm going to keep track of my training program over the winter, how I'm going to keep myself a little bit motivated, keep things organized. This is a system that I used back in my very short but rather effective triathlon career. So basically, I'm a sucker for spreadsheets, so I make spreadsheets for everything. And this is no different. Obviously, what we're looking at here is metrics and test tracking, so this is pretty straightforward. Column I haven't had to use before is this nature column, outdoor or virtual. Just given that I'm still adjusting to sort of Colorado in general, I will have to do some of these tests on a trainer, i.e. virtual, that I haven't had to do before, so I'll just make a little note there and kind of compare Zwift versus outdoor. Somewhat of a trivial thing to keep track of, but if anything, it just kind of will help me keep track of how accurate Zwift is and what to expect going forward, i.e. if I test a certain wattage on Zwift, what should I expect outdoors? Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Weight, FTP, watts per kilo. I'm going to try and kind of just do a little weigh-in like every week, like let's say Mondays. I don't really feel like there's much value or much use in doing that more often. You know, that's a lot of data points for something that's not going to move that quickly. Same with FTP. That will not even be weekly. That'll likely be a monthly thing, or a block by block thing, which we'll get into in a minute. Average heart rate and max heart rate. This, I'm not sure how applicable that'll be to a pure cycling program, but I always noticed that during the tri days when I was spending a lot of time swimming, the swimming really helped kind of regulate my heart rate and keep it pretty low, particularly on the bike split. So I'll just kind of keep track of that and see how that goes. I will probably add sort of a weekly swim workout in just to mix things up a little bit, throw in a little extra cardio without putting anything else on the legs. Same sort of thing. Like I said, well, I didn't say, but like it says here, I'll probably try and do a 40k TT, a 20-minute power, and a 5-minute power each block. The 40k TT, we'll see. I mean, that one's always just fun to do outdoors anyways, so we'll probably do that. But the 20-minute and the 5-minute power will probably be definitely easier to make sure that I stay on top of. 5-minute power is typically kind of something I lack. I don't really have like a high, like a quote-unquote top end, if you will, so we'll work on that. Again, it's a threshold build, kind of a block though, so we're not going to stress too much about it. Okay, jumping down here, I've got my next tab is blocks. This is pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. Today is August 15th, so I'm in this first sort of line here, endurance base. And my focus for this block will be weight loss and time in zone 3 heart rate. So pretty standard, if you will, kind of quote-unquote beginning of season type things. Getting body composition right, because that's slipped a little bit without having a whole lot of focus in my training program or discipline in my training program and in my diet. So we're going to focus on trying to get my weight down a little bit and spend a lot of time in sort of a tempo heart rate. Just meaning, you know, time to kind of build a little bit of the engine, if you will, to use the industry lingo. Over here, my notes column, these are kind of just prompts to myself. This is a big one, have healthy groceries in the house. I'll get into the nutrition tab here in a minute, but I struggle a lot with kind of portion control. I make a lot of the stuff that I eat sort of the same night that I eat it, obviously. But with that comes, like, if ground beef comes in a pound package, I'm probably going to eat, you know, I live with my girlfriend, and I'll probably eat 2/3 of a pound of beef, you know, and that's probably not really what I need to be doing, particularly if I'm going to focus on losing a little bit of weight. So having healthy groceries in the house, and portion control. Again, we'll get into the nutrition here in a minute, but that is what it is. During this period, I'm just going to focus on long rides, exploring, having fun, kind of doing some of these climbs that I've wanted to do, doing some of these longer rides I've wanted to do. Nothing too crazy. Not a whole lot of focus on power intervals or anything like that. Not really focusing on power too much. Just kind of enjoy. Coming back to sort of the overall view, general outline is a 3-2-1. Again, this is something I had success with in the tri world, and we'll see how it applies in cycling. 3 weeks base, 2 weeks build, 1 week specialization, race, take a week off, repeat. It's nothing, not rocket science. I've got a little description of each block down here. We'll see how that goes. I will submit sort of my first true, let's see where we stand in terms of watts per kilo test on the 15th, October the 15th. That gives me roughly 3 weeks in this endurance base, maybe a little bit longer, 2 weeks in the sweet spot build, a little bit longer, and roughly a week in TT specific, once again a little bit longer. I just kind of like getting into the groove of each sort of period, if you will. Workouts tab, very self-explanatory. Obviously, I don't really have anything filled out on the workout side for on the bike. These are going to be pretty standard workouts, nothing too crazy. A lot of 3x10s, 2x15s, 2x20 kind of stuff. I will throw in a little bit of VO2 max here and there just to, not become a purely one tool player, if you will. But those I'm pretty used to figuring out what I need to do on the bike on a weekly basis. So I didn't really fill that out yet. It will be filled in as I go along, and I'm happy to share that. But what I really need to focus on is this off the bike stuff. I struggle a lot with having the discipline to do my sort of ab stuff, stability work, yoga, stretching, particularly yoga. I find my hip flexors get extremely tight. I work a desk job that requires me to sit at a desk for, maybe this summer isn't really the right summer to really sort of explain the pattern, because we're working at 12 and 14-hour plus days right now. Oil and gas is wonderful. Be careful if you decide you want to pursue a career in that field. But regardless, long days, sitting down, hip flexors get really, really tight. And I'd like to focus on doing the yoga and stretching. Those are the two that I'm really going to kind of consider non-negotiable. Those are going to be the ones that when Monday rolls around, Wednesday rolls around, Friday rolls around, I need to be doing my stretching. Yoga, when it's Wednesday and it's Sunday, I need to be doing my yoga. These others, obviously important, but if I miss a Thursday or I miss a Wednesday, it is what it is. I'm not going to stress too much. Nutrition tab, I said that I would come back to this. I've really only just started kind of filling this out. My copy of this document from the Tri-Days was a lot more specific. It was pages long. I had every common meal that I would eat for dinner. I'd have it listed, ingredients, prep, etc. That was probably a little bit overkill. I was in a very OCD period of my life. I think I've gotten to a better place as far as balance. So just kind of a little summary: tacos, salmon, steak, pulled pork. There's not a whole lot to go into there. But again, mainly focusing on portion control. I am terrible at this. After a long day of sitting here stressed and hungry, and then going for a bike ride, coming home, being hungry, I have a bad habit of just kind of smashing a ton of food. So really focusing on portion control. What was the old adage, the size of your fist or something? Maybe a meal the size of my fist is maybe a little bit small for a 6'4", 205-pound man. But maybe we start with 2 fists and we work our way down to 1 fist. That and a lot of the basics. What I will say is a lot of my common meals, they're already relatively healthy, and my stomach, I have a little bit of a touchy sort of GI system. Apologies for oversharing. But a lot of those meals I know sit well in my stomach. I digest them well. They give me good energy, and they're pretty well balanced in terms of having some veggies, some meat, some carbs, some fat. I don't. I've tried the whole eat super clean, nothing but salads and lean proteins and beans and nightshades and all that stuff. Really doesn't work for me. I find that my system struggles to pull sort of high quality energy from that. I've felt very sluggish in the past. I tried the whole, I didn't quite go vegan thing, but I cut out meat and just ate fish. Really not a great experience for me personally. If that's your thing, that's excellent. I admire you. Not my gig. So I kind of know what meals work well for me. Easy to prepare, cheap, pretty quick to prepare as well. So again, focus on portion control. Cut out some of the sugar. I'm a sucker for peanut M&Ms, as I think half of the planet is. So cut those out. Really just a little bit of focus, a little bit of discipline, and we'll see. I'm going to update this sheet particularly as I go on, let's say, a weekly basis, as I have a new data point to add here, and we'll see how things are going. If I need to make tweaks or up the intensity or drop the intensity, I will do so, and I will keep everybody updated. But again, one thing I would like to say is, if you have a better system for kind of tracking this stuff, let me know. I've tried some of the apps, like the dieting apps, and Trainer Road is pretty good at having like a little option to add a note on each day, but it's not necessarily like right in your face. So I've just dealt with spreadsheets in my personal life and in my career for long enough that I'm very comfortable and used to using them. But if you have a better system, feel free, give me a holler. I'm always fine learning something new if it's gonna make me better at what I'm trying to achieve. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. This is just a quick little update. Again, really just trying to keep the accountability going here. So I appreciate your time. Have a wonderful day. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.